And good morning to all. I'm here. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if you even know what you're asking for. Because I think you already know. You have to know how sinister your government is. And if you don't, you'll find out today. Because I don't say these things to be conspiratory. I say them because they're true. But I'm kind of shocked that you're oblivious to what's going on. Right? So I decided to bring everything back to the beginning. I did watch Tucker Carlson and Daryl Cooper last night. That was an amazing interview. Much of the information I already knew. But, I had started before. I had started yesterday afternoon before that interview even came out. Just gathering the information to do today's show. So some of it overlaps, but some of it doesn't. But I said, I don't think these people truly understand how the deep state got started. The deep state didn't just appear out of in the past few years when Donald Trump started mentioning the deep state. And I think that's who brought the deep state to light anyway. I don't really, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And shout out to Angelo. He's always on the check-in. But anybody can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it was Donald Trump that really brought that to the forefront when he started talking about fake news and the deep state and all that other stuff. And then everybody kind of ran with it. Oh, the deep state, the deep state. But if we are really, really being honest, at the conception of the CIA, the deep state was inevitable, and it has led us down a very dark and sinister path. And that's what I'm going to get into today. When you talk about, and it's some wild stuff. We're gonna get into it, but this is some wild stuff, man. We'll get into the granular details, but just an overview capture view of someone being tasked to get intelligence. They take that assignment, right? And then that assignment morphs into a department, and then that department morphs into something else. So when they take this assignment, yo, I need you to go get intelligence. All right, cool. I'll go get the intelligence. Can I do, are there any limits? Yo, I need you to go get intelligence. Oh, okay. Wink, wink. I got you. This person feels, in order for me to get the intelligence, let me go get the mob involved. Now, I don't know nothing about today's mob. I don't know nothing about today's mob. All I can tell you is not only the mob, but the men of yesterday, my grandfather and people of such, the men of yesterday, they were just different caliber of people, of men, and they were smart. They were very smart, and they were hands-on. They know how to do things with their hands. So I don't know why we would think any members of the mob would be any different. No. And I say that because I have there is a respect for who these men were. Maya Lansky and Lucky Luciano. There is, because they built empires, man. And I don't really think, Maya Lansky was upset that everybody was looking at who's the dude from Seagram's. Wait, I have his what's the name up here. Hold on. Not him. Not him. Not him. Not him. Not him. Hold on, he's up here. Hold up, him? No. Maybe I took him down. His name is not coming to me right now. It's gonna come to me because I'm gonna talk about him today. I just didn't want to get his name wrong. And he wanted to know, like, why is that guy looked at as a businessman and then I'm just looked at as some sleazy mobster? And that is how he went down in history, as a mobster. Maybe not a sleazy mobster, but definitely as a mobster. And he didn't want that. He wanted the, there was more to him, he felt. Right? He's designing all type of power schemes to hide money within the banks, and he knew tax law. He wanted the credit for being also an intellectual and not just a brute, which I think he deserved. So the CIA was doomed from like the get-go. And we're going to get into, like I said, the granulars. Like, we'll talk about who started the CIA this morning and all of that other stuff. I'm just giving an overview of what we're going to be discussing. Now, the funny thing is, the CIA, the wealthiest families in America have all been a part of the CIA. The wealthiest families. And the wealthiest families in America that have not been part of the CIA, like the Rockefellers, started their own CIA. Michelle says, good morning, Michelle. She says, conspiracy theories are definitely wild stuff. I guess they are. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about conspiracy theories. I don't do a lot of conspiracy theories on this channel, Michelle. And I'm not all over the place. I haven't gotten started yet. If you came in when I was talking, it may seem like I'm all over the place, but I said I didn't get started yet. I'm just giving you an overview of what we will be talking about today. But I'm not talking about conspiracy theories. And there's the problem. When real life sounds so crazy, I think that's the problem. I think people don't really understand how crazy the real story is, which we'll get into this morning. So years later, now everyone's like, yo, we're hearing this about Epstein was involved in this, and what? The problem is you think that it's rumors that they had pictures of J. Edgar Hoover doing something unsportsmanship like. Huh? Yeah, there's rumors floating around. I heard you was. Unfortunately, the rumors are true. No one has had the time to really delve into these things. And then whoever had the time, remember, we just got the internet. Right? And then that's pretty much censored. Unless you're like a big channel. So when the big channels figure out, oh, shock stuff works. And true shock stuff works even better. Oh, thank you for opening up the doors. Because they can't censor all you bigger cats. And the rest is history, baby. The doors are wide open. Nothing's stopping you from going to learn what the truth is. But Jack Nicholson said it best. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. No, I don't do I don't do a lot of conspiracy theories. All right. Let's get started here. Let's get it started. Yeah. I think I'm going to start with Wild Bill Donovan and Roosevelt. I think that's where I'm going to start this morning. Let me bring up, I'm trying to see how I want to do it. Bring up Donovan. Bring up his wiki. That's how I did it yesterday, and I enjoyed the show. I like to. Sometimes I'm learning stuff on the fly with you guys. What was that about? That's crazy. All right. William Joseph Wild Bill Donovan was an American soldier. First of all, he was born in 1883. I'm kind of fascinated with history. He was born in 1883. He was born 13 years? Is that 13? No. 18 years after slavery is ended. Allegedly ended. So while William Joseph Wild Bill Donovan was an American soldier, lawyer, intelligence officer, and diplomat. He is best known for serving as the head of the Office of Strategic Services. This is the precursor to the Bureau of Intelligence and Research and the Central Intelligence Agency. So if you're not understanding what they're saying, they're basically saying this is the office that started the CIA, the Office of Strategic Services. If you don't know, if you're watching me this morning, hit the like button as you come in. He was regarded as the founding father of the CIA. Now, did you know that? It's important to be honest with me this morning. Did you know that? He was a decorated veteran of World War I. Donovan is believed to be the only person to have been awarded all the four of the following prestigious decorations. Medal of Honor, wow. Distinguished Service Cross, Distinguished Service Medal, and the National Security Medal. He is also a recipient of a Silver Star and a Purple Heart. What? Damn, Donovan. I guess he was out here wilding. Maybe that's why they called him Wild Bill. He's Irish. He's got that Irish blood in him. Donovan was born in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Okay. See what else we got going on here. After earning his bachelor's of arts, Donovan spent 2 years at Columbia Law School. I'm just trying to get a frame of capture his consciousness, right? Here's a guy who's obviously physically inept. And I say that because I don't know if you're like a lazy ass and a fat ass and you're getting all these awards and while you're at war. I don't think you are. I'm just gonna say no, you're not, right? I'm not even gonna go too deep in that. You're not. And I think I'm always amazed after these guys come home how they're able to sit in a school for 4 years and learn. Maybe after war, you're just like, yo, I'm first of all, I'm just glad to be home. And now I'm going to sit my ass down in a classroom and just, but it doesn't seem like he had too much PTSD. Doesn't seem like he had that much post-traumatic syndrome. Well, he went to Columbia University. He joined the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity. In the Roe, he was on the Roe crew. He lived is this a fairy tale life? After earning his bachelor's, Donovan spent 2 years at Columbia Law School, where he was a classmate of Franklin D. Roosevelt. How the fuck does that happen? This is crazy. I thought yesterday bugged me out. This is madness. This is Sparta. What? Franklin D. Roosevelt was your classmate? You guys met at Columbia Law School? This has to be some type of matrix where things are coded. That's crazy. Returning to Buffalo, he joined the respected law firm of Love and Keating in 1909. 2 years later, opened his own Buffalo firm in partnership with Columbia classmate Bradley Goodyear. Of course, of the Goodyear family. This is bananas. Relationships, people. Guard them with your life, I tell you. In 1914, their firm merged with another, becoming Goodyear and O'Brien. In 1912, Donovan helped form and became the leader of the troop of cavalry of the New York National Guard. Okay, he couldn't get it out of his system. There we go. That's what I was looking for. He couldn't get out of his system. He's making money. He's out here banging chicks. But he can't let it go. He has to, he needs that feeling to feel alive. So he goes back to the National Guard. The unit was mobilized in 1916 and served on the U.S.-Mexico border during the... This is a fucking wild story, bro. You are a full-fledged lawyer now. He didn't want nothing to do with that monkey shit. He was like, yo, I need to get out here and punch somebody in the face. He wants violence. That's what he wants. He studied military strategy, combat tactics. He always took acting courses in New York City. What? He also took acting courses in New York City from stage star. This guy was wild. You talk about living a full life. In 1914, he married Ruth Rumsey, a Buffalo heiress who attended Rosemary Hall. I mean, yeah. I don't know who else you would marry. In 1916, Donovan spent several months in Berlin on behalf of the Rockefeller Foundation. We didn't get to them yet, but I assure you we will get to the Rockefellers today. Because unlike everyone else, like I said earlier, a lot of the wealthier families, and we'll go through these people and who these people are. Don't worry about it. Just hit the subscribe button on my channel. If you don't finish the show this morning, you'll come back and finish it later. That's it. I don't rush for you guys. I'm doing my own damn show. I'm taking my time because, like I said, a lot of this stuff I'm learning on the fly with you. But what I do know is instead of the Rockefellers kind of like taking a position in the CIA like the rest of the families, they went off and started their own shit, like the Council of Foreign Relations and Trilateral Commission. They did their own thing. And the world followed suit. And the government followed suit. It was wild. And is wild to this day. But never mind all that. You spent 2 years in Berlin on behalf of the Rockefeller Foundation. What are you talking about? Seeking to persuade the governments of Britain and Germany to... He spent several months, not 2 years, several months. Seeking to persuade the governments of Britain and Germany to allow the shipment of food and clothing into Belgium, Serbia, and Poland. In July of that year, at the behest of the State Department, he returned to the U.S. and took his cavalry troop to the Texas border to join Brigadier General John Pershing. I hate that last name. Army in the hunt for Pancho Villa. Promoted to the major in the field, he returned to Buffalo, then joined the 69 Regiment, also known as the Fighting Irish Regiment. Yeah, he wasn't meant to be a lawyer. I think he did. I don't know why he did that, to tell you the truth. Don't get me to lying. I can only assume he might have felt like, okay, I'm going to go into politics now. And these are the prerequisites. This was the same 69th of the Civil War fame. Okay. Oh, shit. Look at you. That's you, Wild Bill? Okay. Major Donovan led the 1st Battalion. Serving in France, he suffered a shrapnel wound in one leg and was almost blinded by gas. Oh, this guy's the fucking truth. After performing a rescue under fire, he was offered the Croix de Guerre, but turned it down because a Jewish soldier who had taken part in the rescue had not also been awarded the honor. After that insult had been corrected, Donovan accepted the distinction. Shit, bro. So, I'm reading Donovan resume because I'm trying to figure out why FDR asked Wild Bill to be his coordinator of information. If you're trying to figure out, well, I seen your thumbnail and I see what your title's about, but You're talking about a wild bill. Yeah, because everything has to do with everything. That's why. That's your problem. You see one dimensional, and that's your fucking problem. That's why you won't get none of this. So I'm trying my best. I'll try my best today to help you guys out in understanding, first of all, how did all of this stuff start? You got deep state, right? You got people blackmailing other people. The people are using freaking footage that they got, cameras and all this other stuff. Yeah. It didn't come out of nowhere, I can tell you that. So the best place I can help you guys start to understand, from the Diddy's and the Clive Davises and the Lucky Lucianos, and it seems like it's all over the place. It's one fucking story. You're like, it's one story. How is one Diddy and Lucky? It's one story. You want to know why Diddy's not going to jail? It's one story. Diddy had cameras in his house. Who told him to put cameras in his home and record at all times? Well, Epstein had cameras in his house. Who told him to do that? How do you think they got a photo of J. Edgar Hoover trying to give his colleague a blowjob? His male colleague. How do you think they got that photo? I'm explaining to you how they got the photo. It all starts with a young gentleman, courageous national hero, by the name of William Wild Bill Donovan. Am I saying he did these things? No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he was tasked with being the coordinator of information by our president, former president, FDR. And that assignment grew legs past what we, many people would even expected. I don't even know if he expected the task to have grown legs like that. Give me a second. I got some notes down here. I'm going to read some of my notes. So, Donovan was running the Coordinator of Information, 1941-1942. We'll get into what some of his... He had some bright ideas. And I say bright, kind of loosely, because they backfired a little bit on him. So in 1941, President Roosevelt asked William Bill Donovan to be the Coordinator of Information. This was a brand new position created during the early stages of World War II. And the purpose of the Coordinator of Information was to gather, coordinate, and analyze intelligence from all branches of the government and military. Now, that's a lot of power. But also to develop propaganda and psychological warfare capabilities. Now, that's... I think we overlook how important that part of the assignment was. Because eventually we would decide not to only use these things on our enemies. That's why I'm saying that. Eventually, like most things that we do, we ended up using them on ourselves, which is sad. We got Michelle still here giving ad hominem attacks. She said, that was a movie, stupid. I didn't even start yet, and she says, you're conflating all kinds of stuff together, none of which are facts. Everything I say is a fact. I've not said anything that... You know what? We'll do it like this, Miss Michelle. What did I say that wasn't a fact? I'll let you prove me different. And you won't. Now that's the problem with America right there. We have uneducated people who think they're educated. That's the problem with America right there. We have uneducated people who have done things the, look at my air quotes, so-called right way. What? I went to high school, I graduated, I went to college. I got a job. I have a 9 to 5. I got married. I have a white gate and a doggy. And I have children and a soccer mom van. I'm doing things the right way. I pay my taxes. And when you tell them the truth, they can't handle the truth. 2 days in a row, I've got on this thing, and people have gotten up here and said absolute lies. That's wild that you would open your mouth or type on the keyboard and have no idea what you're talking about. That's bananas. Especially before I even got to the facts. I just started talking. And nothing I said thus far was false. Did you not think I was going to connect all the dots if I'm saying these things to you? Anyway. FDR asked Wild Bill. We just looked at his wiki. That guy is something out of a movie script. I would not believe Wild Bill's life if I didn't just read it. Like, go, what? So I don't know the granular details of what. I mean, here's what I do know. They went to school together, so he was impressive. So I'm not kind of shocked that FDR. Listen, I got a job for you. But also, I'm going to say that Wild Bill deserved that shot, bro. Who else if not him? Seriously. This guy's like Keanu Reeves in what's that freaking movie? Where he goes around giving everybody that work? John Wick. Wild Bill was like John Wick, but then he had a beautiful mind too, right? He went to law school at Columbia, all of this stuff. He's, Jesus, very impressive. Anyway, Roosevelt asked him, yo, I need you to be my coordinator of information. So it starts off sinister because at this time, one of the practices, not just by America, but many different, if not all, the governments were using propaganda, which is a form of psychological warfare. So I'm not going to say, oh, we used propaganda. We weren't the only people using propaganda. Sometimes the government used it as a tool for morale, to boost morale. So they would make it seem like, these people over there hate your guts. They hate your guts. What are you going to do? And gas up the people, and then the people are ready to do something to these people, which really you're not about to do nothing but go to work. But you have signed off and given your consent to allow us to take your tax money and put it into this war machine, right? We got your championing our efforts. You support what we're about to do because we gas you up. So Donovan accepts this coordinator of information role, but there's some limits there. And he needs like full-fledged independence. He wants to have the covert intelligence agency like the British MI6. So in 1942, the coordinator of information position is converted into the OSS, Office of Strategic Services. Again, I'm giving you this knowledge. Never mind anybody in the comment section that has no idea what they're talking about and just spewing nonsense. I decided to start from the beginning. We will get to Epstein, but if you don't know how all of this stuff started, then it makes less sense, and then you'll end up looking like her in the comment section, just frantic, and you don't know what you're saying. These are not facts. My dear ma'am, everything I've said is facts. Now that we're at the point where you understand how the OSS, Office of Strategic Services, was created, I want to bring up an operation that they had so you fully understand what happened. So before we get to that, just know that they're tasked with espionage, sabotage, propaganda. These are some of the things that is expected out of this Office of Strategic Services. Now I'm going to pull up my trusty co-host, pull in my trusty co-host ChatGPT in a second. Let's see. New chat. Thank you. All right. All right. Let's start here. Tell me about Operation Underworld. All right. Okay. I love it. Because someone just said what I was saying was all over the place and I didn't have the facts and you're conflating things that have nothing to do with each other. Shut up. truth is, our story is not a story of white cotton and the smell of frankincense and the sunshine. No. That's not even how America started. And let me tell you something. Your mother ever tell you how you start something is how you gonna finish something? Your father ever tell you that if he was around? If I say your mother, your father was probably not around. I'm not talking to Michelle. I'm just talking to all you guys. Your mother tell me, listen, how you start something is how you finish something. Well, true words have never been spoken. Because this intelligence thing that we've been playing around with started off sinister, and look where we're at now. Rogue politicians all over the place, pledging allegiance to other countries. Things are buck wild and out of control. Well, how you start something is usually how it's going to end. Buck wild and out of control. Let's read this Operation Underworld. Operation Underworld was a covert collaboration during World War II between the United States government, the Special Office of Naval Intelligence, and organized crime. Jesus Christ. They said I was not telling facts. We didn't even get nowhere yet. And first of all, this topic is crazy. The government and organized crime do business together. Okay, let's keep going. Notably, the Italian-American Mafia and Jewish mobsters. It ran roughly from 1942 to 1945, and its primary goal was to protect American ports and shipping from sabotage, particularly from Axis spies and sympathizers, including German agents and Italian fascists. Let's keep going. During the early 1940s, the U.S. government was deeply concerned about sabotage and espionage in East Coast ports, the sinking of American cargo ships by German U-boats, the influence of pro-fascist dock workers and sympathizers among immigrant communities. We'll get into all of this in a second. The burning of the SS Normandy in 1942 at a New York harbor intensified the fears. Even though sabotage was never definitely proven, it forced the Navy to look for help in securing the docks, especially in New York, of both military shipping and organized crime. So let's just slow this down. To give people a better idea of what's going on. We got Pearl Harbor. I think Pearl Harbor is 1941. I can look it up, but let me just look it up for be a better content creator. Pearl Harbor. Yes, the attack on Pearl Harbor was 1941. It was a surprise attack by the Japanese Navy. All right, so that's December 1941. So things are kind of already hostile. You have Germany, Mussolini, Italians, and Japan are our enemies. When that SS Normandy which was an ocean liner that they was trying to turn into one of the like Navy ships. when it burnt down and sunk into the New York harbor, you have to understand the mindset of the Navy and pretty much any law enforcement, Department of Justice member. What they do know is, well, there's a lot of Italians down there working on these docks. And at the same time, we're not good with Italy right now. Do these things have anything to do with each other? Like, how would we know? Like, we need some boots on the ground out there to really like understand, because these people are not going to talk to criminal like the police, or like, you got anything to do. They're not talking. So, but we need to figure out. But we do need to figure out what's going on down there. What better way to figure out what's going on down there than to deal with the people who really control what's going on at these docks? The union, who controls the unions and all this other stuff. And that would have been the mob. Now, I'm not saying this was the brightest idea. It was a wild and crazy it was a wild and crazy idea to think you was about to partner with the mob. But maybe, I'm just thinking, maybe the United States felt desperate and was like, you know what, we got to do something. We need information. Charles Lucky Luciano, while serving a 30 to 50-year sentence for prostitution charges, which was crazy, Luciano was approached by the Navy for help. He had massive influence over New York's docks through Mafia control of the longshoremen's unions. Meyer Lansky, they always write Jewish. I have a problem with you saying a Jewish mobster. You didn't say that Lucky Luciano was a Christian mobster. Why you didn't say that? Meyer Lansky was Russian, bro. Right? So if you're going to identify Lucky Luciano as an Italian mobster, please have some respect for life and say he was a Russian mobster. Or say Russian American. I don't care which one you say. But I don't know why you put in someone's religious choice or group in front of them, and you only do it with the jig is up. I'm so done with this whole Jewish thing, right? No, I don't agree with it, and no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm saying something that, again, is true. This is nonsense that you guys are doing. You won't drag me into groupthink. I don't know what it was. Meyer Lansky was a Jewish mobster. So what are you telling me his religion for? So Luciano was a Christian mobster. What's up? Anyway, Meyer Lansky, Russian mobster who had significant influence in both New York and the national underworld. He helped make the connection with Luciano and the other crime figures. And then you got Wild Bill, William Wild Bill Donovan, head of the Office of Strategic Services, the CIA's precursor, though he was more involved in the international side of espionage and not directly in the operation of the underworld. It doesn't matter. Commander Charles Haffenden, the naval intelligence officer who ran the operation on the ground. Okay. What were the objectives? The objectives were to secure the docks, prevent labor unrest. The Mafia had deep ties to unions. they could ensure labor and peace. At any time that I'm not telling the truth about something, you could tell me, hey, just make sure you're telling the truth about me not telling the truth, so you don't look like an idiot early in the morning. That's the last thing you want. God forbid, oy vey, you're out here calling somebody else a liar while lying about doing it. Gather intelligence, use the mob networks in Sicily and Italy to support the Allied invasion of Europe. Prepare for Operation Husky. Oh, I guess we're going to get into Operation Husky, aren't we? This was the 1943 Allied invasion of Sicily, where Mafia contacts were used to gain support from local populations and resistance groups. So, if you're hearing me right, from the start almost of this whole CIA, which wasn't the CIA yet, it was the Office of Strategic Services. So even before the CIA even came into an official department, the practices, the standard operating procedures were sinister at best. Hey everybody, my name is Jamel Saladin. This is the Poker Face Society. Please hit the like button. Do subscribe while you're over here listening to the show. This morning, I'm connecting the dots between the CIA, the Mafia, the super rich, and Epstein. Since Epstein has been a hot topic. Yesterday I did a show. Be sure to watch that show if you missed it, on why Trump is really not releasing the Epstein files. I don't think it has a lot to do with Donald Trump being in the files and him doing a lot of stuff. For some strange reason, I think it has to do with some very powerful people that is above Donald Trump's pay grade and, quite frankly, outflanks him in powerful and eliteness on this planet. And he has to protect these people. Some of these people could be mentors to him. Some of these people could be looked at as American heroes. And I don't think he's ready to change the narrative. I just think it'd be too much. This is the same guy who said he didn't have Hillary Clinton arrested because it would have just brought the whole United States morale down, and he didn't see how that was worth it. He didn't, as much as he wanted to have her arrested, this is according to him, he did not see the value. It wasn't an equal exchange for what it would have did to the United States. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But this kind of brings me back to why I did this show. Because as I was saying before I got called a liar, there are many members of wealthy families that, for some reason, were working in the CIA. It's just crazy. I'm talking about wealthy families like the Vanderbilts and the DuPonts. We'll get into it. And I just don't know. I know why they would probably want to. I don't know why it was allowed. But then again, I don't know who was going to stop them. Because the same people that become our presidents and become our politicians, which make up our government, all of these people, as you can see, I've been doing these shows for a little bit now. And when I go into their Wikipedias, all of these people went to school together. So it kind of makes sense. Someone in your network asked to be a part of the CIA, and it's not like they're doing it for money. They're definitely not doing it for money. But me and you, we're working people, and quite frankly, that's not what they teach us, and that's not what they're asked to teach us when we go to school. So we can go to school 18 years and not learn none of this. Imagine that. Many of us did go to school 18 years. 18 years we went to school and not learned a drop of this. So of course when we come out and we learn the relationship between not only government officials and the wealthy, but also the underworld. This relationship started sinister and it's still going on. So to us, it blows our mind and we say, oh, whoa, there's a deep state? There's been a deep state. What are you talking about? We're going to get some more into it right now. Let me see where I want to go now. Hit the like button. Do subscribe. Remnant of Hip Hop Past. What's good, man? David T, I don't know what you wanted to write. I don't know what you wanted to write. But I can tell you this, David T, just write what you want to write, bro. No one's going to stop you over here, bro. What's that sentence looking like? You started off with an N. I don't know what you want to do. Give me a second. Going into my notes. I want to bring some of these people up. Let's bring up the Mellon family. Let's bring up the Mellon family. You know what I get a kick out of? I get a kick out of me being able to tell the truth, right? So what I noticed is you got some Americans, right? They believe that America is like, they have this concept of America, right? And when you can break that down, the beautiful thing about the internet right now and technology, and this is why I don't get too many trolls in the comment section, because I'm doing this show live. So the things I'm saying, the things that they can't stand to agree with, they got to eat that shit or get the fuck off my show. I love it. Right? They got to just leave and say, oh, I'm not watching this trash. Why is it trash? It's true. Everything I'm saying is true. And you can't handle it. I love that it burns your fucking bridges. Yeah. I love it. It shows you who the real assholes are in America. You're the problem. The fact that you can't take the truth, well, I'm going to log off of this guy. And that's exactly why you're going to get what you deserve in the end. These people giving it to you up the shaft because you refuse. You're like one of those birds that put their heads in the sand and just want to see America the way it's seen. And this shit is going down to the ground, Jack. It's burning down to the ground. And you think if I just get up every morning and I continue to go to work and I don't look up, that none of this is real. Well, guess what? Oh, baby. Oh, baby, I like it raw. You're going to get it raw off the shaft. I'm telling you. No matter what they ever did, you had an answer for it. And your answer, you thought your answer was going to save you, right? All of that America, love it or leave it bullshit that you was talking about. We're going to see. We're going to see America, love it or leave it. Oh, we're going to see. But I expect that some of you guys will have a hard time adjusting to the New World Order. Because that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Not to be conspiratory, but it's just it's going to be a New World Order. And in this New World Order, I don't really see blacks at the bottom. Like, everybody's going to be at the bottom. It's not just blacks. No. Now the truth is, all of you guys are at the fucking bottom. There's rich and there's poor. There's no fucking middle. That's what I'm telling you. So all you people that's still acting like you fucking matter because you're in the middle and you come from a good Protestant white home, none of that shit is going to matter. None of it. Dig this, bro. It didn't matter when they gave you fucking poison in your food. Right? All the dyes and that. None of that mattered. It didn't matter when they tried to inject you with a biological weapon. None of that shit mattered. Now they're pushing the Genius Act so hard, but you're paying attention to the silly shit like Epstein and Diddy, so you don't even understand that they're pushing through the Genius Act. These are all the tools that's going to help create this upper class and lower class and no middle class realm. And guess what? It may not happen during your time because you're closer to death than you are to life. But your grandkids, they're smoked. They're fucking smoked, Jack. So you can log off from me and go dick off somewhere and listen to something that they just want to distract you. They're telling you a bunch of nothing and you're sitting there and agreeing. Oh, yeah, you're right. Think I give a shit if you really subscribe? Do you really think I give a fuck if you really subscribe to my channel? I do this for the people that are woke and just to give them a confirmation. It's not you. It's these other ignoramuses next to you with their head in the sand that have no idea what's been going on this entire time. And believe the bullshit narrative that they've been fed their entire life. I do this for them. Andrew William Mellon. Who's this guy? Known as A.W. Mellon, was an American banker, businessman, industrialist, philanthropist, and collector and politician. The son of Mellon family patriarch Thomas Mellon. Well, that's who I need to be fucking listening to. What am I listening to? That's what I need to be reading. Hold on. What the fuck am I reading you for? Thomas Mellon. Mellon was born to the farmers Andrew Mellon and Rebecca. 1883. Okay. He comes from Ireland. What happened, Ireland? You guys had shit on Smash, bro. The Irish had shit on Smash. It's over, Rover. Anyway, his family had come into Ireland from Scotland and Holland around the middle of the 17th century. His grandfather, all right. They settled in Pennsylvania, Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania. Mellon wrote in his autobiography that at the age 10, he had been struck by wealth and magnificence. What does that mean? What? Upon reviewing the mansion of prominent landowners, Jacob Negley, things are all over the place. At 14, he read the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin and became inspired by Franklin's rag to riches tale. Decided he would not be a farmer. He enrolled at the University of Pittsburgh, then known as the Western University of Pennsylvania. Okay, after graduation, he obtained work in a Pittsburgh law office and became clerk. Now, let me tell you something. I want to talk to some of the younger, even older black people, right? I don't think we really took a page. We were so busy asking for fucking civil rights. Like, not that you didn't deserve civil rights, but then you wanted fucking reparations and you wanted fairness, and I don't know why you sit around asking for people to be fair to you. Like, that's just ridiculous. If people are not fair, you gotta go somewhere else, right? Like, or just kind of like figure out how to get something accomplished without spending decades asking for minor shit. There's a way around it, is what I'm saying. Now, the way people learn how to walk is they watch their parents and they watch the adults, right? And then the baby kind of like learns and sees like, okay, these people are using their legs. And then you don't have to tell a baby, like, they're eventually going to grab the edge of that couch and like stand up on those goddamn legs because they've seen you walk on your legs so long. And what I'm saying is, after reading so many people's story, there's a template on how to get something done. And every time I see these people, they've educated themselves. They didn't pray for shit. Black people, we were so traumatized that we put everything on the back of an invisible God and just hope that we would come out and make our way through. Since slavery, we've done this, and that shit doesn't pay off. Not as much as fucking knowledge and understanding. That shit pays off way better. Knowledge and understanding. I'm just keeping it real. And a certification and a master's degree, though, it doesn't hurt either. Never mind that praying for shit. Mellon invested the proceeds for his legal work, buying up large portions of downtown Pittsburgh real estate. Okay, there's the money right there. There's the money. Well, he nearly lost his estate in the Panic of 1873. Jesus Christ. What's going on down here? Uh-oh. What the hell is going on down here? I think somebody fucked up on the writing. He said shrewd investments included real estate holdings in downtown Pittsburgh, coal fields, and a $10,000 loan to Henry Clay Frick in 1871, which would provide the coke for Andrew Carnegie's steel mills. I do believe you meant to write coal. If you was doing coke deals back then, that was getting you this much money, then damn. I think that's a misprint. I'm sure. They definitely wrote coke. That's crazy. So it just seems like the Mellon family was in the right place at the right time. All right, now let's go back to his son, Andrew Mellon. Let's see what this guy was about. Now, Andrew Mellon was an American banker, businessman, and industrialist and philanthropist, art collector, and politician. There we go. He established a business empire before moving into politics. He served as the United States Secretary of the Treasury. Of the Treasury. We see this happen also. we see that some of the wealthiest family members, people that are part of the wealthiest families, their children or their grandchildren eventually get involved in politics. There's a lot going on in his wiki. I'm not reading all of this. I'm just trying to look for. There we go, right there. He branched out into industrial concerns, becoming director of the Pittsburgh Petroleum Exchange and a co-founder of two natural gas companies that collectively controlled 35,000 acres of gas lands in the 1880s. In 1890, Thomas Mellon transferred his properties to Andrew, who would manage the properties on behalf of himself, his parents, and his brothers. So not only were they real estate magnates, they also were in the petroleum business. In 1895, the Mellons sold their oil interests to Standard Oil. That would be John D. Rockefeller. Okay, so just trying to see here. I'm not reading all of this. I'm just looking for. By the late 1890s, Mellon had amassed a substantial fortune, but his wealth paled in comparison to that the better-known business leaders such as John D. Rockefeller. Of course, that guy was a fucking monster. All right. Now, let me come back over here to these notes. Well, there was a guy named David. Let me type it in over here so you guys can see what the hell is going on. David K. E. Bruce. David Kirkpatrick S.D. Bruce was an American diplomat, intelligence officer, politician, served as ambassador to France, the Federal Republic of Germany, and the United Kingdom, the only American to hold all three offices. Really? Gives a little background on him, gives his career. What does it say? It says something about, look at this. Prior to the United States' entry into World War II, Bruce had already been working for the Military Intelligence Division and had been recruited by William Donovan into the Office of Coordinator of Information. We just learned about the Office of Coordinator of Information. Bruce was appointed chief of a unit at the COI called Special Activities, which would later become the Secret Intelligence Branch of the Office of Strategic Services, a precursor to the CIA. Yeah. It has a lot. Listen, son, you got a lot going on down there, bro. Here we go. This is what I wanted. Bruce was an Episcopalian. On May 29th, 1926, Bruce married Elsa Mellon, the daughter of the banker and diplomat Andrew Mellon. Oh no, that's crazy talk. What? That's bugged out. That's crazy. I hope he didn't do that. So we got the DuPont family. Who was that? That was the Mellon family. We got someone from the Mellon family through marriage that was part of the CIA. We know the Dulleses, but I'm interested in the Dulleses anyway. How did the fucking Dulleses make their money? We understand the Dulleses. Dulles. Let's see here. Not the airport. Let's just say Dulles family. John Foster Dulles. Was an American politician, lawyer, diplomat who served the United States Secretary of State under President Dwight D. Eisenhower from 1953 until his resignation in 1959. Yeah, I'm not even trying. That was your brother. I'm looking for your father. That's what I'm looking for. Really looking for your father. Let's start here. John Welsh Dulles was an American Presbyterian minister and author. He was the grandfather of John and Allen Dulles. Yeah. This is who I'm looking for. Dulles was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was the son of Joseph Heatley Dulles and Margaret Dulles. He graduated Yale College, 1844. Yeah, I don't know if the Dulleses really came from money like the rest of these cats. Let's move on to William Vanderbilt III. Let's move on to, let's close this one down. Let's close this one down. So we got somebody in the Mellon family. It's part of the CIA. Let's move on. William Henry Vanderbilt III was an American politician who served as governor of Rhode Island from 1939 to 1941 and a member of the wealthy and socially prominent Vanderbilt family. All right, so the Vanderbilts made their money through railroads and shipping. From Cornelius Vanderbilt. His father perished in the sinking of the Lusitania. Jesus Christ. Contemporary newspaper articles reporting on the 1917 appraisal of his father's estate that William received a trust fund of $4,600,000. Which they're saying would have been $109 million today. A life interest in $4 million, as well as congressional gold medal presented by Now, conspiracy theories say, I've heard stuff like that thing was shipped on purpose. I don't know anything about that, right? I'm just really trying to see how many people from wealthy families were part of the CIA. And we're going to get back into the mob in a second. Because if we have an understanding of, and here's my thinking on this, if we have an understanding of how many wealthy families were actually intricately playing a role in this counterintelligence agency. I don't even know why they were involved. But I don't think you become rich without wanting to make some of the rules yourself, right? Like you become wealthy. There's rich and there's wealthy, right? But then you want to make things happen. You have a vision, and this is, I'm just speaking logically and rationally because this is what I see out of most of the people in the world. You know, you take your Bill Gates. Bill Gates has a vision for things and ideas. So maybe in his head, it's like, yo, this is genius. And I'm going to change the world and my name will go down in history. Your name will go down in history. But how do you make those ideas happen faster? Right? So they're not happening from a place where, like, let's take Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla, he loved the things that he studied to the point where he actually learned new things just by the things he was studying, and then introduced the world to different technologies. But he wasn't, I think we can all agree, Nikola Tesla wasn't doing it for money. Like, he wasn't studying electromagnetism for money. He was just studying because he was curious. He invented different things because he was curious, because he was going to do these things regardless. He just wanted some backing and some funding so he could do what he loved to do. I don't see that as the case with like a Bill Gates. Bill Gates is different. He's doing his things is way we would consider sinister, but, and I think partly the reason we're considering these things sinister is because I don't think it comes from a place of love. I don't think it comes from a place of passion and this is what you love to do. You love to be the topic of talk in a good way. You would love if you were remembered for something, but you're not. I don't think you're putting in that work. I don't think you've ever put in that work, right? You didn't. You kind of stole the old software thing. So it's not like you sat there and created that software. You were opportunist. And I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with that. I'm not judging you on that. That's the American way, right? Someone else does the work. You come along, steal the work as it's almost done, and claim it for yourself. That shit is not new. That's just the American way. But when you continue to keep doing shit like that, right? This whole vaccine idea you got, and then, you know, it's not like you're the inventor of fucking vaccines. It's just that you've outgrown the space in the fishbowl that you was in, and you need a bigger fishbowl. That's all it really is. So I know I'm taking my time this morning on probably things that you guys are like, well, what are we talking about the Vanderbilts for, this, that, and the third? We're talking about them because I'm curious to see how these other families got involved in an agency that I think should not have been opened up to so many different identities. I think that was the one agency that definitely should have been kind of, it should have had way more stringent requirements to be a part of. But from the moment they collabed with the Mafia, I think it was downhill from there. So allowing a few other wealthy family members to come in and kind of peruse through the joint. Now, how are these wealthy families? How did they use any of this information that they were learning? Did they keep it to themselves? Do you think that you can keep a billionaires? Do you think you can have him under control? He comes from one. He has money, so it's not like he's even doing this for money again. Let's get back into not Wild Bill, but William Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was a member of the Republican Party in 1928. He was a delegate to the Republican Convention, Rhode Island. Okay. All right. His refusal to dole out a patronage to fellow Republicans, however, weakened his power base, and a scandal over wiretapping by a private detective firm he had hired to investigate election fraud cost him re-election in 1940. Jesus Christ. So they were wiretapping in the 1940s. I wonder what year that was, because he was brought in again. All of this stuff. So let's just stop right there. This is why I want to take my time, because it's the little pieces that you don't get. So here it is. Vanderbilt, governor of Rhode Island, right? What would give him the idea to wiretap anybody? To get what he wants? What would give him that idea? Who would give him that idea? In 1942, Vanderbilt was assigned as an executive officer of the Special Operations Branch of the Office of Strategic Services under Wild Bill, William J. Donovan. I just find it wild that Donovan went and got this guy, a Vanderbilt, and he gave him an executive office of special operations. Why did he do that? In May 1944, he was assigned to the staff of Admiral Chester Nimitz, Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific Fleet. He was promoted to the rank of captain prior to the end of the war. Hold on. I need ChatGPT to find out. What year was William H. Vanderbilt in a scandal over wiretapping? ChatGPT says he doesn't have any evidence that he was involved in any wiretapping fraud. So Cornelius inherited the Vanderbilt Railroad empire. He was active during the mid-19th, a time when wiretapping, as we understood it, telephone was only patented in 1876 and the spread of electronics. It also says the FBI wiretaps in the 1930s. So why are you saying wiretaps didn't exist? Wait, what year did wiretapping... Hold on, let's slow this whole conversation down. What year did federal wire... No. What year was wire tapping invented? Wiretapping Act. 1890s. Fuck are you talking about? It wasn't invented yet. The first documented court case involved a telephone wiretap was in 1928. Okay. So why are you saying it wasn't invented yet? During Vanderbilt the third timeline. He lived during the telegraph era, not the telephone era. Wiretapping of telegraph line did not exist during this timeline, especially during the railroad community, which was deeply involved. So yes, wiretapping was possible during this time, just not the kind of associated with telephones. Wiretapping as a term originally applied to telegraph lines. Okay. Give me a second, y'all. So there was no scandal that he was involved in that had to do with what are we talking about? Telegraph wire tapping or any wire tapping of sort. ChatGPT says William H. Vanderbilt was one of the richest men in America, inheriting and expanding the railroad empire from his father. He was known for ruthless business tactics, obviously, a famously dismissive quote to the press, "The public be damned." Jesus Christ. Major consolidation and the expansion of the New York Central Railroad. You might be mixing this up with Jay Gould, who was known for his shady financial manipulation. Don't try to throw shit off on Jay Gould, bro. First of all, what did he mean by the public be damned? When Vanderbilt said the public be damned, he was just being arrogant. He was expressing the harsh truth about Gilded Age capitalists saw the relationship between business and the public. Well, that's what I'm trying to tell the people right now. Preaching to the choir, brother. In 1882, during an interview with the Chicago Daily News reporter, Vanderbilt was asked, "Don't you run your road in the interests of the public?" His reply, the public be damned. Yo, Vanderbilt, you's a wild boy, bro. Yo, look what your man said. He said the public be damned. We run it because we have to. It's a political necessity. We don't run it to accommodate the public. God damn it. But again, this is why I'm doing this, right? Because I'm proving a point, right? When you have the arrogance of wealthy people involved in something like the Central Intelligence Agency, and then you have the mob involved in the Central Intelligence Agency, at some point, their children will run the fucking government. At some point. So I just want you to know what 4 decades later, 5 decades later, 6 decades later, the ideology, the philosophy, the family philosophy, the culture, because I can't get that word out. Philosophical, that's what I was trying to say. The philosophical mindset of the training of these great-grandchildren, children, grandchildren, grandnephews. These are the people that's going to become our politicians. These are the people that's going to write our laws. These are the people that are going to be in charge of foreign policy and how we deal with these relationships, right? These are the people that are going to become the technocrats of the world. So, I understand my show could be a little long tooth, but it is for a reason. I'm always trying to get a point across. I'm never just doing a show just to do it. Or I know that's the way of the YouTube. Right? You got to be the first to the story, and then you get up there and you say a bunch of nothingness, but you got the views and the likes. Man, screw all that. I don't have a big channel for that, so I might as well enjoy what I do. And you telling me what to talk about every morning, I'm not going to enjoy that shit. But I enjoy this. So that's your boy, William Henry Vanderbilt III. Millionaire, also part of the fucking CIA. Who else we got, man? We started with the Mellon family. We had David K.E. Bruce, but David K.E. Bruce married into the Mellon family, not for nothing. Then there was some sinister shit down there I didn't read to you about his daughter, their daughter passing away, and his divorced wife's husband being on a plane that mysteriously disappeared. I don't know. Right? This shit is crazy. So this is getting too crazy, actually. We have William Donovan, Wild Bill Donovan, recruiting wealthy people into the fucking CIA. I could have sworn he handpicked William Vanderbilt III. Let's go back to David K. Bruce. I'm not going to go back to David Gables. There was one more. I don't know if this guy was part. We'll see what happens with this guy here. Let's see what happens. I don't know what happens. Let's see what happens here. Junior Spencer Morgan, 1813-1890, was an American banker and finance as well as the father of John Piermont Morgan. So, if he was J.P. Morgan's father, there's no way in the world he was going to be in the fucking CIA. But now I'm curious to see, how'd you make your money? He established J.S. Morgan and Company in London as a successor to George Peabody and Company, of which he was junior partner. With his son's aid, Morgan grew his banking house into a transatlantic financial empire that included firms in London, New York City, Philadelphia, and Paris. By the time of his death, 1890, the Morgan banks were dominant forces in government, railroad finance, and was his preeminent American banking house. Okay. He died in Monte Carlo? He was born in Massachusetts. They were from Wales, his earliest ancestor. Okay. The Morgan family immigrated from Bristol, England to Boston. All right, they were British. I'm looking at something, y'all. Is there two juniors? Let's see. The second. Let's try the third. So there was a fucking Junior Spencer Morgan the third. You guys are crafty. Fucking wealthy people. You guys are crafty. I'm looking for the third. Alright. Well, let's get into this. Junior Spencer Morgan III was an American banker and a director of the Morgan Guarantee Trust Company. Junior Spencer Morgan III was born on March 15th, 1892. To Jack Morgan. Jack Morgan was an American bank and finance executive. He inherited the family fortune, took over the business interests, including J.P. Morgan. Okay. Here we go. In 1914, after graduating from Harvard, he joined J.P. Morgan and Company, working there until 1917. On September 15th, 1917, he was commissioned and then signed in the United States Navy Reserve Force and was later promoted to lieutenant during the First World War. Why is there a common theme of fucking rich people going into war, coming out okay, with all type of fucking prestige? I don't know. I got a feeling that the only person that really, really deserved this shit was Wild Bill. But again, I could be wrong. Even Wild Bill shit sound crazy. But I think he deserved it for some strange reason. He resigned from the Navy on December 13th, 1918. His naval service enabled him to become a member of the New York Commandatory of the Naval Order of the United States. Is that a fact? Uh-oh. I see some shit down here. On December 1st, 1941, Morgan was placed on active duty serving during World War II as he remained in the Naval Reserve between the wars. Okay, so he was active duty, but I don't know if he was anywhere around, you know what I'm saying? Any action. I don't know if he was getting busy. On August 15th, 1942, he was promoted to the rank of commander. He served with the Office of Strategic Services and rose to the rank of captain by the end of the war. His brother, Henry Morgan, also served with... There we go. There we fucking go. And remind you, at the beginning of this show, someone called me a fucking liar and said that I was spewing things that weren't true. Turns out a bunch of wealthy fucking people ended up working with the CIA. I found out more than that, obviously. I found out a bunch of wealthy people had been in the military. Here's what I think. I think that's part of... We watch these shows with young men from prestigious families. They want to go off to war and make their name, and I think it's part of a prerequisite, like a part of the resume, right? And hear me well. I think that frame of mind is even a good thing because it's entrained in these people early. By 13, these young men know I have to go to the military, right? And then I'm going to come out and do this. They know this by 13. I think they know they're going to be protected and ain't shit going to happen to them. They're not like in infantry and they're on the front lines. I think there would be hell to pay if one of these boys didn't come back. So yeah, let him go over there. He wants that on his resume. He wants to be a part of it. He wants to say he fought for his country, right? This is what the fathers and grandfathers are going to say. They're gonna, let him go over there, but don't put him anywhere where there's anything going on. He served as a Commodore in the New York Yacht Club. This is fucking nonsense. At the Copacabana. You know what's funny about this? Okay, here we go. This is what I was looking for. I'm trying to find out his relationship to J.P. Morgan. So Junior Spencer III was born 1892. Okay, who was the banker and the son of J.P. Morgan. All right, so this is J.P. Morgan's grandson. This is J.P. Morgan's grandson, Junior Spencer Morgan, who you probably never heard of, right? I've never heard of Junior Spencer Morgan the third. He went to Harvard. I wonder if he had 3 children, but they don't say who they were. Now, see, that's the type of shit that interests me, because if I can find out who his children were now, I mean, I can ask ChatGPT if ChatGPT even fucking knows. Let's see if ChatGPT knows. Who was Let's see if he knows. Okay, you had Junius Spencer Morgan the fourth. He was a banker like his father, like his grandfather. Okay. Low profile. Not a lot known on an old boy. Junius Spencer the third was a grandson. I know that. Patriarch who laid the family foundation. Yeah. He was also the nephew. Oh, okay. So he was the nephew of the famous J.P. Morgan. Powerful financier. There's a lot going on here. This fucking and here comes the dismiss information and the misinformation. These people never want you to know who they are, right? So there's never a clear cut history. I gotta look into this some more. I can't trust ChatGPT or fucking Wikipedia. Fuck both of you guys. I gotta look into this some more. I gotta go to the library this weekend. Crazy thing. You can't trust neither one of these cats. All right. So far, we have the DuPont family. Did we have the DuPont? Did we do the DuPont family? No, we didn't. We did the Mellon family. We found some people from the Mellon family through marriage, though, to be very honest. That was part of the CIA. We found some people from the Vanderbilt. And, by the way, some of these people were directly brought in by Wild Bill. Vanderbilt family. These are the wealthiest families in America, right? The J.P. Morgan family. And now, without further ado, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this fucking DuPont family. I don't know if we're going to find anything, but I said that before and I did find something. I don't know if we're going to find anything. Alfred I. DuPont. I don't know if we're going to find anything here. Was an American industrialist, financier, philanthropist, and member of the DuPont family. Alfred DuPont first rose to prominence through his work in his family's Delaware-based gunpowder manufacturing plant. You guys had a gunpowder plant? What? For which many years he served as director of the board and vice president of operations. Kudos to you guys. He died a multimillionaire with the bulk of his fortune sustaining the Alfred DuPont Testimony Trust. Testamentary, okay. His mother had a history of mental illness and was committed. Jesus. When he was 13. Wait, you guys were poor? What's going on here? They had immigrated after the French Revolution. Okay. DuPont family intended to separate the children to sell their family home. Swamp Hall. Jesus. But were persuaded otherwise by the fierce resistance of the children. The girls remained in the home, but the DuPont was sent to boarding school. Okay. Then 2 years after Phillips Academy, and then he was sent to Massachusetts. After graduation, he enrolled in Massachusetts Institute of Technology, sharing a room with his cousin, T. Coleman DuPont. How'd you guys end up in the same? Okay. Doesn't matter. 1884, after only 2 years at MIT, he left to work at the family's gunpowder manufacturing plant in Brandywine Mills. So you had a big family. And they were already doing their thing. So it's not like you just came from off the fucking streets from somewhere and built up some crazy fortune. I don't see anything here about him being. I see World War One. While the value of shares greatly increased due to success in the companies during World War One, Alfred DuPont and other minority shareholders launched a lawsuit against Pierre DuPont. Oh, you guys were fighting amongst yourselves, were you? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. If I don't see anything about him being in war. Oh, what did that say? Oh, one of the ships was named after him. Okay. Let's see here. He had 6 children, though. All right, this is what we do. We'll ask ChatGPT if who was his children. Who was children? Were any of them in the OSS? Let's see. No, I don't think any. It says, while some DuPont relatives were involved in military or service or government affairs, Alfred DuPont's direct descendants are not known. Okay. Well, I think you gave us a clue. Who were some of these DuPont relatives involved in government affairs? That's what we need to be asking. Who were the DuPont family, one of the American wealthiest? Yeah. We just want to know who, bro. That's it. So we had Thomas Coleman DuPont, 1863 to 1930. He was a U.S. Senator from Delaware. Jesus. Instrumental in the infrastructure projects, including road construction, played a role in shaping early corporate lobbying and business and government models, helped expand DuPont Corporation into an industrial titan. It's important to know history, man, because we start blaming people as if they started these trends, not knowing how far these practices go back. Pierre DuPont, president of DuPont Company, then General Motors. Government connection. Major supporter of education reform and infrastructure in Delaware. Notable contribution. Although not a politician, he influenced the New Deal era opposition and military-industrial preparedness through his corporate leadership. There you go. Lamont DuPont, president of DuPont, oversaw DuPont's vast contributions to military production during the World War I and World War II. Okay, though not in uniform, his influence on military logistics and defense policy was immense. What the fuck does that mean? We'll get back to that. Henry Mellon DuPont, U.S. Army officer in World War I, later involved in company leadership and civic service. Is that a fact? Is that a fact? We'll get back to that in a second. We got Paul DuPont, founder of DuPont Motors. We got Richard DuPont, U.S. Army Forces Aviation's innovator, pioneer of military glider design. Where? killed in a glider accident. Jesus Christ. Not one that you designed, bro. You're wild. God damn, Richard. Yo, bro. You can't have accolades and then the shit you get accolades for was really a curse, right? That shit say contribution, a pioneer of military glider design. Died in service, killed in glider accident. Yeah. Yo, fucking around, bro. You're gonna find out today, huh? I don't know why you ain't take your rich, silly ass somewhere and sit the fuck down. Put on a polo shirt and just chill out, my boy. You out here wilding. Yo, I want to design glider. Word? All right. Your boy was killed in a glider accident while working on military glider programs in World War II. Of course he was. How else did you expect him to go out? Iron A. DuPont, accused of being sympathetic to pro-German and anti-FDR movements. Really? This guy's out here living. He's a wild boy. All right. I don't really see any of the DuPonts directly connected. Oh, boy. That was funny as shit. I don't see the DuPonts directly connected. Now, here's the fucking Rockefellers. We didn't get to them. Let's get to the Rockefellers. The Rockefellers, I didn't even look for over here because they started their own shit, right? So the Rockefellers started something called the Office of Coordinator of Inter-American Affairs. I don't know why they would just start up their own shit. Appointed by FDR in 1940, Nelson Rockefeller led this office to counter the Axis influence of Latin America during World War II. Though its cover was public health, education, and cultural outreach, the OCIAA had spies and informants throughout Latin America, close ties to businessmen, media, and government officials. Oh, see, I think that's why Nelson Rockefeller this whole thing is fucking wild. It's FDR, man. It's FDR. FDR is the fucking problem. All of this shit comes back to FDR. He was the problem. As I'm seeing it. What I'm seeing is him putting friends. It's all nepotism. He put friends and people in that were rich in position. That's the fucking problem right there. And none of us are naive, right? So we're not thinking, hey, you're not going to be in that position and not put some friends and family on. I'm not saying that. But you think you would put some people in position that actually probably really, really deserve these positions other than rich people and friends. Now, again, I'm not saying Wild Bill didn't deserve, because if the story about Wild Bill is true, then shit, I mean, put Wild Bill anywhere. He was an educated man. He was a man that wasn't afraid of violence. And at the same time, he was charismatic, diplomatic. Like Donovan had, he was it. He was it. But everybody else, it just seems like FDR put him on, and then Donovan just started putting everybody else on. And we don't know if Donovan was told again to put these people on. This is a guy from freaking Buffalo, New York. He doesn't come from a wealthy family. So I'm assuming a lot of these relationships came later on. Could be wrong. Anyway, FDR approaches Wild Bill to start something called the Counter. No, it wasn't called the Counter anything. What was this shit called again? There's so many acronyms. Coordinator of Information, COI. So FDR asked 1941 Wild Bill to create the Coordinator of Information Department. That's 1941. Dig this. 1940, Franklin D. Roosevelt appointed Nelson Rockefeller head of the Office of Coordinator of Inter-American Affairs. Jesus Christ. ChatGPT, I need your help. What was the sole difference between the core I'll read this to you in a second. Okay, so I wrote, what was the sole difference between the Coordinator of Information role and the Coordinator of Inter-American Affairs role, and what was expected? Enter. Let's see what we get. Let me bring my chair up. All right. Here we go. While they sound similar, the Coordinator of Information and the Coordinator of Inter-American Affairs were distinct roles created around the same time, 1940s, but with very different mission scopes. Okay, here we go. Coordinator of Information, established by Franklin D. Roosevelt, FDR. The purpose was to centralize U.S. intelligence gathering at a time when military, State Department, FBI intelligence was fragmented. Served as America's first civilian intelligence agency, later evolving into the Office of Strategic Services, forerunner of the CIA. We know that now. Core responsibilities: collect and analyze foreign intelligence. Now, I want you guys to remember that. Conduct psychological warfare. Coordinate information from military and diplomatic sources. Prepare the U.S. for covert and overt operations abroad. Focus area: globally, especially Europe and Asia, Nazi Germany, Italy, Japan. All right. Now, the other position, Coordinator of Inter-American Affairs, established through executive order. What the fuck? What? This was appointed to Nelson Rockefeller to promote hemispheric solidarity and combat Axis propaganda in Latin America, strengthen economic and cultural ties with Central and Southern American countries to prevent Nazi and fascist influence. Core responsibilities: disseminate pro-American propaganda in Latin America so we can get that support. Okay. Promote Hollywood films, radio, and media to shape Latin American public opinion. Jesus Christ. And you guys want to know why shit is sinister, bro? I don't think this shit has anything to do with the people of today. The people of today were trained to do this shit, is my point. It's just that it grew its own legs, and when you get bad training from the get-go, when shit starts off crazy, like soon as you get a position, you decide, yo, let's do business with the mob. Bro, you ain't had this job a week. Yo, fuck all that. Call your boy, Lucky Luciano. He's doing a 40 to 50. What are you talking about? Nah. Call Lucky. Lucky was doing 40 to 50, bro. Soon as they gave Wild Bill a shot, he goes and gets Lucky. Lucky got up out of there. I don't even know how much he did out of that 40 to 50. We're going to find out in a second. That's wild. So, when we talk about propaganda, and again, we've been using what they call soft power in different countries, right? So here we have one of the wealthiest men again in the United States. He's given a position to go spread propaganda, to crystallize the opinion of other places and create a soft power location in other. So we're talking about geopolitics here. Again, there's nothing, I can't say there's anything, we're not doing anything different with Israel. Except Israel's becoming off the hook, right? So Israel is supposed to be a place of soft power, but they feel like yo, I'm not a foot soldier no more. That's how Israel feels. Like, I'm not a foot soldier no more. I know when this whole shit started, I was a foot soldier, but I'm my own man now. And you cannot be your own man if we giving you all your money. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't go around bragging and chicks, yeah, I got my own apartment, and then your parents is paying for your fucking apartment and your car note, bro. That is Israel. We pay for all your shit. So you gotta pipe down, little boy. You gotta pipe down. And we only really dealing with you for soft power in the Levant. That's the real deal. You know it. Everybody knows it, man. Where we at? 2 hours? I ain't even expect to really be up here 2 hours. I'm enjoying the show. I'm enjoying the show. Let me talk to everybody. Seven times 77 is back. He's saying I shouldn't use the Lord's name in vain again. I'm a heathen. 7 times 77. I am a full-fledged heathen, bro. And I don't believe in your Lord. There's a big chance I think your Lord is a fraud. Which he probably is. I don't know who your Lord is. Let me say that starting off. But if by any chance your Lord is Yahweh, absolute fraud. Hands down. One of the biggest frauds in history. So, there's that. Behavior bender. The middle class is dropping out. The middle class is dropping out. The middle class is dropping out, bro. That's just it. Remnant of Hip Hop Past says, are these the same Mellons at the Mellon Bank of New York? Yeah. Johnny the Monkey, did Mellon invent melanoma? Shit. I don't know. I'm going to find out today. Fauci released a biological weapon. Let me say allegedly before YouTube takes my channel. I don't know the guidelines, but I seen him do this shit. And then shout out to what's your man, the Rands. Shout out to the Rands, because they're talking about bringing him back up on some type of special charges, which he deserves. No one cares about that pardon that he got, man. But he lied, right? And he said that the NIH did not fund gain of function. We all heard him say it. And then the truth comes out. I mean, it's all out there on the laundry line. And even before it was on the laundry line, we knew. But people kept on calling us conspiracy theorists, which was a crazy time. People were being paid as fact checkers. Remember that whole fact checkers bullshit? Everything you wrote down, and it was like, yo, this has been fact checked and it's found out to be false. And then they would just take your account. This was some crazy times in America we just went through. All to make us not see the truth. And now the truth is coming out. And when I do shows like this, obviously it's 2 hours. I'm not going to get through it today. But the reason I take my time like this, I'll just come back tomorrow and we can do another show. We can finish off where we left off, right? But the reason I take my time is because you miss so much stuff by just doing a fast overview. I would rather take my time and look at the stuff that comes out. What did we find out today? A lot of these people from these wealthy families, William Wild Bill Donovan went and got himself. So he went and got the people from the Vanderbilts and the Mellon, yeah. David Bruce was through the Mellon family. He was married through the Mellon family. But he went and got one of the Morgan kids. And it just makes you think, why would you be cherry picking selectively these people from these wealthy families to be in the Office of Strategic Services, which later would become the CIA? Why would you do this? Unless you was told to do this, because what we also found out is that Wild Bill was he was a classmate of FDR. Now, you miss all of this if you just, like, you're rushing through a show, or you're just rushing because your audience wants something juicy. I don't care if you subscribe to my channel. I don't care for that. Everyone else who, like, wants a deeper understanding and wants to see the relationship of how these things mesh together, you can hit the subscribe button, and we'll take our time going through this. So, today we talked about the fact that Wild Bill was given this, he was given a position directly to him from FDR to get intelligence. That morphed into something else, right? Office of Strategic Services. The first position was Coordinator of Information or something like that. Then it was Office of Strategic Services, and while there, he worked with the Navy, and they decided we're going to work with the mob to control the New York ports. Once you bring in the mob, I don't know why you thought you could keep these guys under wraps like they're idiots. You think you build a fucking billion-dollar underworld empire by being a fucking joke or being an idiot? And I think you gravely underestimated these fellows. First of all, the only way you can even get Al Pacino, not Al Pacino, Scarface, the original Scarface, my bad, from Chicago. You guys know who I'm talking about, the fat guy. And not Babe Ruth, the fat gangster, is by creating a tax law, because you couldn't get him on anything else. And guess what Meyer Lansky did when you did that? This guy, he was not an idiot. He went and switched up his operation to protect him from, so he wouldn't be brought down by the same RICO type of law. Then you went and got Lucky Luciano. I want to see how many years did Lucky do out of that 40 to 50. Give me a second. Let me see. Ask ChatGPT. How many years did Lucky Luciano do out of the 50-year sentence? Lucky Luciano was sentenced in 1936 to 30 to 50 years in prison for compulsory prostitution. Released after only 10 years. All right. As part of the release deal, he was deported to Italy and never allowed to return into the U.S. Why was he released early? Luciano aided the U.S. Navy during the World War II in Operation Underworld, helping secure New York ports from sabotage and facilitating the Allied invasion of Sicily. Yeah. As a reward, New York Governor Thomas Dewey, which we will get to, we just started this. I should create a whole series out of this, because I can't do this type of shit in one day, right? So ultimately, what I'm really showing you is that there was a relationship between not just the mob or government officials, but also the wealthy. All of them were working hand in hand. And we can look back and say, yeah, but there was a good reason for that. I don't give a shit. I'm just telling you what happened, right? There's no judgment in my voice, whatever. I'm not telling you there was a bad, whatever. If you like it, I love it. But let's not look 60 years later and ask dumbass questions like, yo, why is there a deep state? There's a deep state because this shit started off as a deep state. What are you talking about? If you give a mob official fucking the ability to work in government, you do know this dude is running around like a wild cowboy, right? You do know that. You do know he feel like, yo, ain't shit gonna happen to me. Cause these is gangsters. So look what happened. Not all of these people always got along, right? You gotta, oh man, when you get into this story, it's wild, right? What they did to J. Edgar Hoover? See, when we talk about all this taking videos and spying on people, that shit started with the OSS, Central Intelligence Agency, and the mob. And I dare say that the mob gave the idea to the Central Intelligence Agency. Doesn't really matter who gave it to who. They worked in tandem. So when you're trying to figure out, like, how would Lucky Luciano even get a picture of J. Edgar Hoover? trying to give head to somebody. Well, he worked with the fucking CIA. What are you talking about? How would he get a picture of it? What are you talking about? Hit the like button, do subscribe. Hit the like button, do subscribe. I'm gonna get back to the comments in the second. Shout out everybody that's coming over, that's giving me your little bit of time that you're giving me right before you go to work. I appreciate you. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to watch me in the morning, but I appreciate you. Nelson Rockefeller redefined the intelligence game. He treated foreign nations the way Standard Oil treated gas stations. Yes, he did. He set up shop. He brought influence. He crushed the competition. He was tied to every power center. Eisenhower, Nixon, Henry Kissinger, Allen Dulles. Damn. It's cold-blooded. I want to get into Nelson Rockefeller a little bit. Let's get into the Rockefellers. Let's do that. Because here we go. Rockefeller CIA pipeline. Multiple CIA directors such as Allen Dulles was close to the Rockefeller family. The Council on Foreign Relations, the CFR, heavily funded by the Rockefeller money, acted as an incubator for intelligence and foreign policy elites. So this is what I want us to understand. We take certain departments and acronyms as for granted as if they were already there, right? Or always there. I remember growing up thinking Israel was 2,000 years old. And I wasn't until I was a grown man when I found out, like, wait a minute. Israel's not 2,000 years old? How the fuck old is Israel? Oh, that was just invented in 1948. What? No way. I read it in the Bible. What did you read in the Bible, bro? Maybe you don't read your Bible, but Israel was wandering around lost forever in that Bible. Like, huh? I had to read my shit again. Wait a minute. You are absolutely right. These motherfuckers was lost forever, bro. Always wandering around for 40 years here and 40 years there and getting kicked out of this place. Holy shit. Yeah, bro. They never had a place. They've like gypsies. Shit, you're right. They are. Fucking gypsies, nomads, if you will. Vagabonds, these guys. But guess what? It's no fun when the fucking rabbit has the gun. Because those same gypsies, god damn, you may not agree with their tactics or what they stand for. Whatever they stand for. I don't know what they stand for. But you gotta respect. And I think that's all they really care about. You gotta respect how they did that shit. You're talking about some made up story, stealing identities, getting kicked out of country after country, going through all of this shit, only to come out on top. And they may be a superpower yet. I think we might be seeing the start of a superpower where they take America by force from the inside out. This was a whole fucking Trojan horse that they sent over here and just worked on us. You know, they raised their kids to become the doctors and the lawyers and the politicians. And now these kids are grown and having kids of their own. And I don't think it's anything we can do about it. Right? The Irish, you fucked up. You fucked up, bro. No one's seen what you was all fucking patty caking and getting drunk. These guys were focused as shit in law school. You gotta respect it. So wealthy, spending their money with each other, making the network strong. Black people, you gotta fucking stop hating each other. Malcolm X asked you a serious question. Who taught you to hate yourself? You asked one poet called a rapper to say, let me hear some of your poetry. And he's killing 1,000 black guys in one fucking verse. Slow down. Stop killing people. It's not a badge of honor to commit violence amongst your own. Because that's the only people you commit violence to. You are not about to lift a finger to anybody else. So you need to knock that shit off. No one cares. Everyone's laughing at you, bro. No one really cares. They know you're broke. You don't have any money. And they let you feel it's like they're laughing at you. It's they pat you on the back. Oh, you was a cold motherfucker. And then when they walk off, said that broke motherfucker don't even got his own apartment. Lives on his mother's couch fucking. You walk off with your head pumped up. Yeah, I don't play that shit. You do play that shit. You do play that shit. You play right into the hands of where they want you to play. They do a movie. Look who they put in charge of. What did we go over today? Right? And I want to look up that executive order because Nelson Rockefeller got that position through an executive order. Don't think that shit went over my head. But he was given his position through the FDR administration through executive order. And then part of his job was to go down there and manipulate the people's opinion about America through movies and media. And you guys really think that they didn't use that fucking practice? Need I remind you that Operation Northwoods suggested that we kill our own to go to war. So my question is, why wouldn't they use these same tactics on us if it's going to be feasible for them? Of course they're going to use it. Blackmail, they did all these movies. They did Menace to Society. Huh? They put all this nice ass fucking soundtrack behind it, the music behind it. That shit sound dope. Yeah. They got you out here wanting to be the guy on the big screen. You out here pointing your silly ass gun. Huh? All of that shit led you to jail exactly where they wanted to lead you in the first place. Because it's just slavery. And they made money off of you while you was there. And here's the crazy part. You still taking pride in this shit. And then when no one agrees with you, your argument is, you don't come from where I come from. Bitch, I come from worse than you come from. What are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about? Both my parents was on drugs. You dickhead. What are you talking about? You don't understand. No. I'm trying to help you understand that the people these people are playing you, Jack. Stop coming up with your silly ass excuse telling me why you need to do violence to your own people and why you think you a gangster because you commit violence against your people. Why you fucking piss in your own elevators. Why you make you where you live a shithole, and then you want what fucking excuses do you have for making where you live a shithole and you teach your kids that shit? No, I don't think anybody should respect you. Fuck out of here. It's a wonder that people just don't respect you, bro. Then you out here asking for civility, and what are you asking for? Stand up in your own neighborhood before we even get to any external influence. You stand up in your neighborhood and you call right and wrong. When you do that, shit start to change. Everything else, we already know it's systemic, right? I have conversations with my friends all the time. Yo, this shit is systemic. No, duh. I'm the one up here breaking this shit down, how systemic it is. I'm taking my time out every chance I get to show you how systemic it is. I know it's systemic, but now that we know it's systemic, what do you do with the information after that? What do you do after that? I'm the one teaching you where this shit came from. I know it's systemic, but I'm not going to sit here and allow you to use that as a crutch not to progress and become better. Let me do some comments. I really got to go back. I got to start studying for the shit I'm studying for. So I really don't have time for this. XYT was good, man. Yeah, that last album that Prodigy did was amazing, bro. That last album really showed he was waking up, and then all of a sudden, mysteriously, he died. So I was just like, oh, shit, like this dude. You're absolutely right. Irvin Mack was good, bro. We got the Mac Mizzle show in the house. Salute. Original man, and peace to the gods and earths, man. That's crazy. Remnant of hip hop past. And I think, Remnant, are you the fucking Hierophant? Is that Steve? I think that's Steve, bro. I'm not sure. I think that's Steve. But anyway, Remnant of hip hop past says, are these the No, not that one. Where's it at? He said they're related to Anderson Cooper. Here we go. Gloria Vanderbilt is CNN's Anderson Cooper's mother. That's wild. I didn't know that. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit more of this show. What time we at? 20 more minutes, because I didn't really expect to be up here for this long. I got some studying to do about some other stuff, technology studying. All right, let's go here. Let's see, where were we? I was talking about David Rockefeller, right? I was talking about Nelson Rockefeller. Was appointed by President Eisenhower as a special assistant for Cold War strategy, giving him direct control over covert planning. But why Nelson Rockefeller? Is anybody going to ask that, or has anybody asked that? What credentials did you have, Nelson? What credentials did Nelson Rockefeller have to be appointed special assistant for Cold War strategy? What? XYT, that's a fact. XYT says everyone needs to read Propaganda by Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays had an official curriculum that the universities adopted, and I dare say teach to this day. Nephew of Sigmund Freud. Those guys understood psychology. We might get into the whiz kids. This morning. I don't want to be all over the place. I get excited with this shit. I'll break out the archive on you. But right now, I want to go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT something. What the fuck gave... Hold on, bro. What credentials or background experience did Nelson Rockefeller have to become special assistant for Cold War strategy? Come on, ChatGPT. Come on. You're going to try to take up for Nelson. Do your best. He says Nelson's Rockefeller's appointment as special assistant for Cold War strategy may raise eyebrows today. Yeah, it does. But his credentials and background, while unconventional for military strategists, reflected his elite education, deep government experience, massive financial influence. There we go. And strong anti-communist ideology. Well, let's just reverse engineer this. Having a strong anti-communist ideology has nothing to do with your ability to run the program of or be in this position to make these type of decisions. Deep government experience. What the fuck does that even mean? Here's a breakdown of why Rockefeller was chosen and what he brought to the table. Harvard University graduate, studies economics and international relations. Oh, maybe he was. I'll give him that. If he did study economics and international relations, I'll take a break on him. Because I can't sit here and say it was just about the money. He actually did study this shit. Maintain lifelong ties to Ivy League and policy-shaping institutions. He did do that. Even before being named special assistant for Cold War strategy, Rockefeller had served in multiple key roles related to international policy. It says right here, he was a coordinator of inter-American affairs, where he used media, diplomacy, health, campaigns, and economic aid to counter Nazi influence in Latin America. Gained experience in soft power, propaganda, and hemispheric strategy. He was also the Assistant Secretary of State for American Republic Affairs. That's kind of crazy that we would call it the American Republic Affairs, but the whole United States still thinks we're a democracy. But even in our Pledge of Allegiance, they mention this being a republic. Did that go over our heads? I think it did. Anyway, let's continue on. Oversaw U.S. policy in Latin America. Okay. Helped shape hemisphere. Okay. Involved in founding the United Nations. Played a role in negotiating the location of the UN headquarters in New York on land he helped purchase and donate. Huh. Extensive ties to intelligence and global strategy circles. Though not officially part of the OSS or CIA, he was closely connected to intelligence elites, Allen Dulles, John Foster Dulles, trusted by top-level officials. So, if you walk away with nothing, one time my cousin asked me, about something, and he was asking me how do I do certain things, and My answer to him was relationships. And I can tell from his response, he felt like I was giving him a bullshit answer. And it's not a bullshit answer. And this is why people believe in fraternities so much. This is why people, they go to the churches they go to. There's fraternities all around you. You just have to use it to your benefit. If you become a police officer, whether you want to or not, your fucking new fraternity is the fraternity of the police fraternity. And it's gonna work out in your favor somehow by being a part of this association. If you went to prison, especially federal prison, but it doesn't really matter what prison. If you went to prison and you have a good name, well, if you ever really wanted to be a part of the underworld, then you have a good chance. You got to use your relationships. Everything is a fucking fraternity. I remember going to a church. Not that I really I wasn't going there to really praise God. But I started going to this church because every Sunday there were all the latest cars parked in front of this church, and they was double parked and everything. So all the 600 Benz and G-Wagons and Range Rover, all that silly shit was outside the church. And I said, that's where I need to be on Sunday. So when I started going there, everybody was a fucking doctor, lawyer, psychologist, or headed to the top. This was the black elite in my city. I said, what the fuck am I going to a poor church for? All of them are begging, but I don't get anything back. You're asking me for your last to keep on the lights, this and that and the third. What do I get? My trust in Yahweh? Yeah, right. I joined the church. And I'm not going to lie to you. That was one of the best decisions I've ever made, because the relationships I made in that church actually helped out my professional career in a massive way. And that's all I can tell you, right? So don't think you can only just be a part of the Masons. And then he had a problem with the Masons. What's your fucking problem with the Masons? What is your problem with the Black Masons? What problems do you have with the Black Masons? Nah, Farrakhan's a Mason. All right, what problems do you have with the Masons, though? Do you even know what the Masons are teaching in there? Everyone thinks they know. You don't know shit. You don't know. What do you know? I can tell you this. You better get with some type of fraternity or group that can help you. I may judge these black guys that go off and join Greek fraternities, but I'm judging for a whole different reason. But at the same time, I'm really thinking, well, you didn't do the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the sororities. Because later on, I know you're going to be able to call on one of your fraternal sisters, fraternal brothers, and if you have done the right thing, they could pull you in. Because that's what makes the world go round. Relationships. But if you're a high risk, then nobody's going to touch you with a 10-foot pole. And that's just the truth. Right? Go clean yourself up and then come back, and then somebody put you on somewhere, somehow, some way. But if you don't get that part, and this is why you always hear me say, if you can't be used, then you're useless. So you can't go to your brother or your sister and ask them, hey, can you put me on? What do? What is it that you I think rap music needs to end. Fuck rap music. There's nothing else to say anyway. There's nothing else that needs to be said. There's nothing that could be said. It's fucking rap. Fuck it. It's a rap, bro. I already know what you're gonna say. Tell me where you from. You about to say some silly shit about violence, this, that, and that. None of you guys are artists. Now, there's one guy I'm still listening to. Shout out to Amir Ali in Philadelphia, right? I like his poetical style. But I don't understand people that like rap artists just because they got on there and said some negative, violent shit about selling drugs and this, that, and that. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm listening to you to see how you flip words and how you're painting a picture. That's what I'm listening for. You think because you mentioned some grimy shit, I'm supposed to be like, oh, that shit was bad, real. That shit was whack, bro. Shit was garbage, trash, sardine juice. Fuck out of here. You supposed to be a poet, man. Let me hear you. When I compare you to other poets right now, everything is, you're losing. Your style, your rhythm, your cadence, your topics, your use of double entendres. You're fucking whack, bro. You're whack. You just know how to say stupid shit. And we're training other kids, and we reward people for that, and we've been rewarded. But again, how is that any different than from what Rockefeller was in charge of doing in Latin America? He was in charge of using media and movies and music, and by the way, music is a part of media, to crystallize their thinking. And that's all these fucking people did with the music industry. They got you up here, black girls shaking their ass in every video. Oh, well, you see that enough, they getting rewarded for this. Well, then the little black girls want to grow up and shake her ass. And if you're getting rewarded for fucking selling cocaine and rapping about, yeah, I sold cocaine and I'm the biggest cocaine dealer, and then you reward dude for that, well, what is a fucking 8-year-old boy supposed to do that he done heard this fucking song 50 times today, because that's what he listened to is the radio and that payola shit. You know, shout out to Clive Davis. He goes around and he starts paying fucking radio stations, hey, play this shit 100 times a day. Well, this is programming, isn't it? So we talk about deprogramming now. They didn't let me on the internet. Yeah, I want to do deprogramming. Everything we learned was bullshit. The miseducation of the United States, all of it, bullshit. Rockefeller was an early proponent of psychological warfare. Yeah, we know. Economic statecraft and the use of mass media to fight communism. Yep. Why Eisenhower chose him. Eisenhower needed a broad thinker, not just a general. Rockefeller was deeply anti-communist, globally connected, and adept at influence and strategy. He had proven ability to organize large-scale campaigns across media, government, and private industry. Okay, I understand why he was chosen now. Maybe they did have the right guy. Fuck that. They had the right guy. My bad. My bad. Hold on. So his OCIA position was a executive order? Yes, Nelson Rockefeller's position as head of Office of the Coordinator of Inter-American Affairs was created by executive order. Executive Order 8840 by FDR. Executive Order established Its mission was to, well, we read this. Economic aid. Okay. Let's get to the fucking, So, when was the Council of, hit the like button, do subscribe to my channel, Foreign Affairs created? Subscribe to my channel. The Council of Foreign Affairs was created in 1921. What? Founders, a mixed American bankers, lawyers, and academics, many of whom were involved in diplomacy. The CFR was the American branch of group originally formed at the Paris Peace Conference, 1919, where British and American elites gathered to discuss global policy. British counterpart became Chatham House. Oh. Founding figures. Paul Wahlberg. There goes fucking Paul Wahlberg again. Amazing. That's the guy who wrote. It says right here, Federal Reserve architect. Yes. Why we went to a German Jew for finance advice is beyond me. I don't know. The same reason we went to the mob to fix shit, and then later on wanted to figure out why shit got sinister in deep state. Because we do dickhead shit. That's why. We make all the bad decisions and turn back on. How did you think he was going to write that shit? Unbelievable. The Rockefeller family, especially John D. Rockefeller, provided significant funding to the CFR, including helping purchase its headquarters at the Harold Pratt House in NYC. Well, I think we gotta end our show here because I got shit to do. I think I might start using Grok today. I don't even know XYT. I haven't had the time, to be honest with you. Right now I have to do some Azure stuff for something coming up. So I'm just studying a lot of Azure shit right now. Networking, automation, shit like that. But I want to get into Grok 4. Yeah, this whole thing is interesting, man. Hit the like button. I gotta get out of here. I got shit to do. The reason I didn't put Epstein in there just for clickbait, right? Obviously, the algorithm, everyone's talking about Epstein right now. I just want you to know, Epstein did not teach himself how to put cameras in his own house, and that became a culture. And I wanted you to know where that culture came from. So that's why I brought in the topic about the OSS. There's a relationship between the mafia, the super rich, as we can see. So this is not a one-day conversation that I could just have in 2 hours, right? So I might be talking about this tomorrow and the next day and the next day because it is quite fascinating, and you learn a lot. A lot comes out in the wash, right? I watched the live last night with Tucker Carlson. That was amazing. And I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be talking. The next live I do, I'm probably still going to be talking about Epstein because we haven't even gotten to how we didn't get to Thomas Dewey. We didn't get to who's the other prosecutor that was Donald Trump's mentor. There's a lot you guys have to understand, the relationships between these people's mentors. That's what I'm telling you. I don't think it's the list is not coming out because of Donald Trump. I think there's people on that fucking list that nobody wants. Like, these people are like, nah, that's my mentor. That's my man. So I'm not even done with this conversation by far. I'm not done. God bless you too, XYT. Appreciate you, man. I don't think I did that much profanity today, so you guys could go ahead and share on your Facebook. However, I did blaspheme. So you you make up your own decision. I don't want you later on, hey, this whole thing you told me this was all good, and then they reported me for blaspheming. Yeah, bro, me and you don't even have the same God, Lord. Sorry. Forgot to tell you that. Damn. I'll try better next time. I will. Shout out to all the people who unsubscribe. I don't give a shit. You understand? Shout out to the woman who came in early talking about I wasn't speaking facts, and turns out I was speaking facts. Everything I goddamn said. So, there's that. Shout out to you. Hopefully you subscribe. You can come over here and get some good learning, right? Cognitive dissonance is just going to be a bummer. It's a bummer. Cognitive dissonance is never fun. You know, all the shit that I believed that I later found out was a lie? You know how I felt? Like, God. Years wasted. It hurts. But don't worry. I believe in snatching the Band-Aid off over here, and you'll get the learning you need. That being said, I gotta spin up some VMs. Start fucking training. Get back into this technology shit that I love. Y'all have a blessed day. Holla at y'all later. Peace out.